We all have our secrets, don't we? On the run from the crimes of his past, Black Barrels is the story of Theo, who moves to a remote coastal town to start a new life, a clean life. After getting a job in a local pub, he quickly discovers that the past sometimes has a horrifying way of lingering and even returning to haunt the present. While working at the pub with his manager Anna and long-term bartender Becca, they all begin to experience strange occurrences. Shadows and signs of malevolent spirits. After an ominous stick puppet is left on his doorstep, Theo soon falls victim to the demonic entity lurking within the old stone walls of the Three Mothers pub. Horror ensues with the disappearance of the family dog, increasing violence towards the bar staff, and a tragic accident involving Anna's mother. Theo, Anna and Becca must confront their pasts, challenge their beliefs, and overcome their fears so they can rid the pub of its dark history and the spirit of the witch that still haunts it to this day.
My name is Jack Burney and I am the writer and director of Black Barrels. So the inspiration for this film really came from two places. The first was actually living here and learning about the local history and being surrounded with fishermen's folklore and all the urban myths and legends to do with sailors and fishermen and people who live out on the water. And that to me was so inspiring. As someone who likes scuba diving, I like being out on the water myself. It was amazing to hear how people have turned the ocean into something to be afraid of. And then the second part about that was, at the time of writing this, I was working at a local pub here in the area, and I started hearing rumours. I started hearing the customers and the management and other members of staff all telling me their ghost stories of things they'd felt and things they'd seen on the CCTV. And that just got my mind working in overdrive. So those two things together meant that this film came together very, very naturally, and it was such a joy to write the script. And then one of my favourite bits is learning about the really avid film community here in Essex. And that has meant that my sort of personal manifesto going into this film is about utilising that film community. There are so many great filmmakers here in Essex and the South End area. So what this has culminated in is a film that has been inspired by the local landscape, inspired by the local history and the people in it, and now inspired to actually make the film by the film community and the filmmakers here, with independent film studios. We have the film festivals all going on here. Really, it has meant that this has all joined together to make the perfect environment to make this film, and to, when it's all said and done, make a film that really couldn't be made anywhere else. So we look forward to updating you as the filming of Black Barrels progresses, and thank you very much for your support.
Hello, my name is Alice Ryan and I am the producer of Black Barrels. I'm a producer, actor and voiceover artist, so I've had lots of experience in front of and behind the camera. I've been part of well over 30 short films and independent feature films, and this one I think is going to be extra special. When Jack first brought me the script, what I loved about it was the fact that it's actually inspired by local history where I grew up. I've lived my whole life in Leigh-on-Sea, and I couldn't believe that someone who'd only lived in Essex for a short amount of time was also so inspired by the fantastic history that we have around the area. I've, over the years, sort of taken it for granted, really. You learn about the witches and the smugglers and the ghosts in the area. I've been to the Salem pub and not really thought about who that pub is named after. And this particular story highlights a lot of these really interesting historical stories that we have in Essex, and particularly around Leigh-on-Sea and South End, and really brings them to the forefront. So I loved the fact that Jack was also passionate about the history and where I live. Not only that, when I was reading the script as a producer, I could really visualise everything. So I could see the beautiful scenery, I could see exactly where these wonderful characters were going to be. I could almost see the conversations that I was going to have with production companies. I could see where we were going to shoot, I could see where I could get the costumes from. We've got a scene in the film that's actually a historical flashback, and it didn't faze me at all because I knew exactly who I was going to hire to get the costumes. I knew exactly the actors that I wanted involved with it. So the fact that I was being given a production that was going to be so inspiring and so easy to be able to put together was just absolutely fantastic. We also have an amazing amount of talent in the Essex area, and what's going to be great about this is that we are going to be able to use crew and local actors and really highlight the talents that we have around here. So what I'm really looking forward to most is getting this up and running and working with some fantastically talented people in the Essex area. So thank you very much for your support, and I look forward to showing you Black Barrels.
Hi, I'm Sam Anderson and I'm the founder of Arc Pictures. I'm also playing the role of Kate in the production of Black Barrels. So I first came across the script of Black Barrels about 9 months ago, and the story really appealed to me because of the witch history of Leigh-on-Sea. I've looked into a lot of the women who were tried in the streets that I walk down every day. So the part that I'll be playing, which is Kate, I thought had a really nice sort of arc, because she starts off, you don't know a lot about her, but she has this really intense, scary thing happen to her in the pub where she works. I do see a bit of myself in Kate. You know, I'm interested in things. I've looked into witchcraft. I'm not claiming to be a witch, but I have definitely looked into it and what witches do, what they're all about. And I feel like where I am is where Kate is at the beginning of the story. I'm not quite where she is at the end. But if I saw what she saw, then I would be. So Sarah Moore, I mean, back in those days, there was a lot of unexplained phenomena that used to happen. I mean, she was accused of throwing a fireball at small children, and if you look into the details of what actually happened, it involved paraffin, it involved air, and you know, pyrotechnics that we all know about in this day and age. But back then, it looked like she was some sort of sorcerer who was setting fire to children. So I think Sarah Moore represents, in this film, she represents how we perceive witches back in the day when they were being tried and murdered. And Kate represents the modern day witch, the healer, the spiritualist, the protector. And I think that's quite interesting to have both sides in this story. So the story of Black Barrels really appeals to me. I'm very, very interested in the history of the witch trials in general throughout the whole world, but also where I live. I know some of the history of what happened hundreds of years ago, and there are still sites that you can see today where witches were tried and drowned, and the Sarah Moore story is, although there are different versions of it, it's still very much a rich part of our Leigh-on-Sea culture. She's very prevalent. There's a pub named after her, importantly, and so it's nice to see her being brought to life in Black Barrels.
Overall, we're looking to raise £100,000 to make sure that Black Barrels is the best that it possibly can be. That kind of money is going towards paying our actors, our fantastic crew, all of our locations, and also hiring a lot of talented people for our post-production, as well as marketing as well, so that as many people as possible can see this fantastic horror film.
So we look forward to updating you as the filming of Black Barrels progresses, and thank you very much for your support.